Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 30th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's gonna open in about 9 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, a few more things here. It's good. It's good. All right, looks like we're good to go. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right. All right. So as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here on the daily chart. Just going to check something real quick. All right, looks like we're good. All right. So I'm going to start marking up liquidity over here. There, and there. Going down to the 8 hour. Got liquidity right there. There. Going down to the 4 hour. We got liquidity right there. Down to the 2 hour. There, there, there. Going down to the 1 hour. There. The 30 minute. Down to the 15. Down to the 10 minute. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, so I've marked up liquidity over here, guys. Good morning, everybody. Today's Tuesday, April 30th, 6:25 right now. Market's going to open in about 5 minutes. I've just marked up liquidity here from the daily down to the 10 minute. Closest level of liquidity is going to be down below at 38,370, and the closest level above is going to be at 38,549. So there goes the two closest levels of liquidity right there. You guys can see this huge candle. We'll get to that shortly once we cover news. Looking over here at the clean chart, I'm going to mark up 6:30, mark up 8 o'clock, go over to the 4 hour time frame, identify structure here. So we got structure up here, some structure up here, structure down here. Going down to the 1 hour. There's a lot of structure here actually on the 1 hour. So we have structure right there. It's kind of small. Zoom in a little bit. Structure right here. Structure down here. I'm not going to mark this lower structure because it is not established yet. So I'll just leave it as is. And then we'll go from there. All right, so let's go to the 1 minute. And as you guys can see, we have some structure here, but it's kind of messy because of the news from today. So we got the support level right here. These are both 1 hour support level. So I'll just mark up one right there. I'll put it in the middle. And then we have this is the resistance. Resistance. Down here, we have the support. Kind of far off, but we'll see if it comes down this far. All right, looks good there. So there goes the clean chart. We'll come back to that once market opens. And here's news. So looking at the news calendar from today, there was news at 5:30. It was positive, but we had this big spike to the downside. So, I mean, we'll see what happens if the market actually opens. So we had news at 5:30, 5:55, and 6. So you guys can see this huge red candle right here. That's a 5:30 candle. 5:55, which is red book. And 6 o'clock right here. There we go. So news at 5:30, 5:55, 6. And now at 6:45, 7:30. Okay, 6:45. 7:30. All right, looks good. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Looks like majority of you guys are here so far. Today is Tuesday, April 30th, 6:29 right now. Market's gonna open in about a minute, about 30 seconds. We've marked up liquidity on this chart. Closest level below is gonna be at 38,370. Closest level above is gonna be at 38,549. Here are the areas of support and resistance. It's up here and a level down below as well. Over here on our main chart, these are the news prices from today, 5:30, 5:55, and 6. We have more news at 6:45, 7, and 7:30. So it's a bit of a messy market today. So it's going to be hard to really look for entries here because of all of the red flags. I'm kind of hoping price continues to drop because if it does, we'll have a lot of more open space down here, of course. If price pushes up, it's fine. We'll just have to look for little pockets for us to take entry. But other than that, market is now open, guys. I'll mark an opening price right here. And as you can see, the price is still moving kind of crazy right here. So we'll see if we get a correction or if we get a continuation to the downside. All right, so there goes opening price. The PRB is currently bearish right now. So until price pushes up higher, I guess we'll still be looking for a possible sell here for the PRB. The BB3 over here, there's no entry right now. So we'll have to keep following that. Here's our clean chart. I'll mark up structure once we have some movement in direction. Looks like liquidity down below might be getting hit, but we'll see what happens here in a few. All right, so we got price down below over here, below the opening price and below sessions. Currently have a pending sell signal right here as well. So we got price down below here. No sell signal yet, but it is pending. This could start setting up for a PRV at some point. All right. I probably would wait for the market to stabilize a little bit. You guys can see price was in a huge range right here. It was consolidation and then fake outs on both sides. You can see the consolidation right here. Price spiked up, faked out, came back below, faked out, came back up, faked out, etc. So I would probably just sit tight and wait for this here to kind of stabilize a bit before you start looking for any entries. The ATR is currently at 16 right now, so it's about average. It's not high, it's not low, it's just average right now. So I'll just wait for this here to kind of confirm it's going to keep dropping. The sell signal is going to be key. So once the sell signal comes up, you can kind of have an idea if price is going to keep dropping or not. If it doesn't come up, then it's probably going to keep ranging within this area. But you guys can see the range. It's pretty obvious within this middle area right here. Once we have, more movement here, I'll mark up more structure. Right now, we just don't have that here at the moment. So you got price coming down. Be careful not to chase though. Let's take a look at retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 58% short. This indicates that 58% of retail traders are currently selling right now. You typically want it to be around like 65% or more. So right now it's pretty much on the bearish neutral side with regard to positions, but you still want to do, or you want to try to do the opposite. So there's not really much of a confirmation right there. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently down 167 points. So it's obviously bearish right now with regard to fundamentals. So I'd say right now it's a bit mixed. Looking over here at the technicals, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute are all bearish. The 1 hour is shifting to bearish, and the 4 hour over here is neutral. So it's a little bit mixed. The sell signal here still hasn't closed. As you guys can see, it's trying to close, but it keeps disappearing at the last second. So you want to be careful and wait for some confirmation here before you start taking some entries. This could be a possible pivot scalp if it closes, but you can see for the past 3 candles, the sell signal has not closed yet. So it's not exactly, there we go. So we got the sell signal here that closed. This could be a pivot scalp if you wanted to take it. I personally wouldn't take it as a pivot scalp, at least not yet, because you guys can see how the fake outs are happening here. So if I draw a structure over here, you guys can see it's pretty clear, like where these fake outs are happening. This is the actual range right here, and there's fake outs on both sides. So fake out, fake out, fake out, another fake out right here. Just fake outs in both directions. And you can see how price is faking out here, and it's pulling right back into the range. So just want to sit tight and wait for some confirmation here. I mean, if anything, I'd probably look for the retracement here, come back down for momentum divergence. So I'm actually okay with this pushing up, because if it comes back down, so you can see right there where we have the divergence. If it comes back down and closes back below, that'll be like a high-low scalp. And then you'll also get a momentum divergence down below. So I'm still okay with taking sells here. Price decides to, say, go sideways here for a bit, and then it breaks below, and we get something like a high-low scalp, then I would be more inclined to take something like that versus to hop in right away, because you'll get a confirmation that price is likely to keep dropping from there, right? So right here, I actually want price to kind of close above this zone so that we have this retracement right here. We need that retracement with the momentum divergence. We don't have it yet, but we would like to have a retracement right there. And once we have that retracement, I'll be looking for the continuation to the downside. So I do want this here to close bullish, and I'll look for that continuation down, because I do think price will continue dropping. And personally, it's just a better direction to trade anyways to the downside, because up here, there's too many red flags. So there's not really much to work with up there. All right, so there's no confirmation here yet. I'm going to keep these zones up here so that you guys can kind of see where these fake outs are happening. Let's zoom out again. So I'll clean this up once price is kind of confirmed if it's broken out of this range. But right now, I think it's pretty obvious that price is kind of faking out into these areas here. Plus, we have news over here at 645. 645, we have, check the calendar. We have Chicago PMI, which is inflation news. I don't know what to think of news today because all the news here was positive and it just dumped this morning. So I don't know what to think here. The news here is supposed to be positive, but we'll see what happens. All right, so price is pushing back up. This is a good thing. I actually want price to push back up, kind of consolidate around this area because I know that if price decides to come back down, it's going to actually push through at this point. Right? Because we wanted the fake out. Like this is what we said yesterday. If you guys were on the live session yesterday, I mentioned to look out for the fake outs. You guys also have to keep in mind that today is Trap Tuesday. So you guys can see all the traps being set up. Price broke above over here, faked out, pulled back below, consolidated for a bit, pushed up again right here, faked out, came back below again right here, faked out. If this buy signal comes up and this momentum divergence for a sell is going to be irrelevant, it's no longer going to be useful. Okay, so there's no longer going to be a momentum divergence that is really useful for us here anymore because of the fact that there's a buy signal, right? So at this point, we can possibly look for, if we do have a trend shift to the upside, we can look for a possible momentum divergence for a buy. Because momentum divergence is based off the momentum. And since there's a buy signal here now, the sell signal here doesn't really matter. So not really any space here for a momentum divergence. Again, price is going to fake out. You can see right here. Fake outs in both directions. Right back into the range. So what I'll do here is if these structures get filled, so let's do this first. I'll go to our clean chart. I'll mark up the zones that I just marked up right here. And then if new zones come up, I will mark up new zones as well. Because technically there can be new zones here. Because we have a new lower low, we just need a new higher high. Otherwise, we use this higher high right here. So here's a clean chart. You guys can see it a lot better where the range is currently at. There was a range on Monday, and there was a range last week. So this is pretty much normal for the market so far. Something else over here. All right, nothing right here. All right, we have news coming up in about 5 minutes, guys. I'm gonna step away for about a minute. I gotta do something real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I just had to do something real quick. All right, so there's nothing really going on. As you guys can see, price is still within this range. Still have a buy signal. Price is kind of just sitting down right here, sitting in this area. But we do have news coming up in about 5 minutes. Yeah, Nick said the BV3 might come up. Probably best to sit until news. Yeah, it's a little too close to the news event. It's medium impact, so I'm probably not going to mess with it. Because there can be a pre-news movement along with the reaction to the actual news. So yeah, I know. Nick said that sell signal was weak. Yeah, I'm surprised that sell signal came up, right? It's super, super weak. It was like a small candle plus basically like an upside down hammer. So it doesn't look like we're gonna get that BB3 here. I mean, possibly, maybe BB3 continuation. So there's not really much going on here. There's our clean chart. I'll leave it as is right now. Once we have some more movement, I'll mark up, better structure. The structure here will do for now so that you guys can see the range. So no BB3 continuation right there. You guys can see price is just sitting within this middle area. You guys got to remember it's Trap Tuesday, so don't take anything that's too risky today, or don't take anything too like I would say think twice, maybe even think three times before you take any entries, because look for reasons not to take a trade. So if you do think about taking a trade, like for example, if you see a pivot scalp or you see a breakout V3 continuation or you see a high-low scalp or anything like that, think twice, right? Think twice, think three times, think four times. Look for reasons not to take the trade. Look for the fake out. If there's no fake out there and your confluences line up, then perfect. But if there's a possibility of a fake out, then just don't take the trade, because you guys can see how many fake outs have happened today so far. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 here. 6 fake outs within an hour. It's a lot of fake outs. So you have to understand that there's going to be fake outs today. So main goal today is just focus on quality, as it should be every day. Every time you guys trade, focus on quality entries. I know there's going to be like 10, 20 entries coming up within like the first 3 to 4 hours of market open, but not all those are going to hit. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, like ever since like I'm pretty active in the Apex community because everyone sees like certain people watch us trade and stuff like that. And they always ask me questions, or they always tell me like their situation, right? Like people always hit me up and like, hey, Sean, how are you so consistent? How are you able to post like green profits every single day? And how do we have such a crazy win streak? And they tell me that they're like in a cycle, right? Where people just they tend to win and then they lose and they tend to win and then they lose, but there's no consistency. And it's really simple. Like if you guys think about it, if you guys are in that cycle where you win and you lose and you win and you lose, you just have to focus on not losing, because you already know how to win. You just don't know how to not lose. So if you could focus on just not taking, low quality trades, and then you just shave off those losses, then you'll be profitable. It's like very basic, but like a lot of people they can't see past that realistically that's all you have to do. You have to focus on minimizing the losses. Everyone's looking for RR, right? Everyone's looking for risk to reward, but your risk to reward sucks. It doesn't matter if you have a big risk to reward, but if you're losing so many times. Like I see people that have like 1 to 2 risk to reward or 1 to 3 risk to reward, but they're losing like 10 times and winning one trade. So they're still at loss or at break even. I prefer to have a negative risk to reward, but have a high win rate, because then I'll be having like 5 wins a week and then maybe 1 loss, and then I'll still be in profit at the end of the week. So, everyone's kind of different how they see things. Everyone learns differently. I feel like it's due to a lot of the bad information in the trading space. I feel like high RR has been like something that's been pushed on a lot of people from the very beginning, and they think that they have to trade that way. High RR isn't necessarily a good thing if your win rate sucks. Like you can't have like a 20% win rate if you have like a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 3. Maybe if you have a 1 to 10, but it's not going to work if you have a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. It just doesn't make sense. You're going to lose 10 times and you're going to have one winning trade. You're still going to be negative, unless you have a 1 to 10 RR, which is almost impossible. When I see people like trade 1 to 10 RRs, it's like once in a month or once in a year they have a trade like that. Those trades don't come very often. All right, guys. So we have the news candle right here. Not really much happening. Let me go and check the news. News is negative. Thanks, Brian. So we got negative news for Chicago PMI. It was actually pretty negative. It was 41.4 last month. They were forecasted to be 45, which is positive. It was actually lower than last month. So With that said, let's see how price over here reacts to the news. Doesn't necessarily have to react the way it needs to, but I feel like the market's screwing with people right now. I think it's really screwing people because you guys see how this big drop happened at 5:30. All the news at 5:30 was positive. So I think they're faking out a lot of people to the upside because people think that this gap is going to get filled, right? Everybody thinks that price should fill this movement right here, right? This big push to the downside when price was supposed to go up. So what's happening here is it looks like people, like the market is just kind of luring in buyers. So they push price up. As soon as people chase the buy here, they get stopped out. They push price back up again right here. As soon as people chase the buy, they spike price back down, stop everybody out again. Same thing right here. Price pushes up, looks like a correction's happening. Dump price right back down. Same thing with right here. Price is pushing up again. It looks like it's about ready to push up. And then as soon as people enter those buys, push right back down into the range. So I'd be careful taking some buys here because I think everybody's looking for buys. If you think about it, all the retail traders right now are probably looking for the correction, right? Because it should be up here. Price should be up here right now. And I think the market makers are just screwing with everybody. Because as soon as price does make its way like remotely near correction, it just gets pushed right back down. So you just want to keep that in mind, guys. See, we got some news over here. It says Trump held in contempt for violating hush money trial gag order. Yeah, nothing new here. A banker who worked with former president's one-time personal lawyer on a 130,000 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels. Michael Cohen. Yeah, that's crazy. Michael Cohen is like an example of like one of those attorneys that just kind of does whatever his client wants. Like, it doesn't matter if he's gonna get in trouble. And then now he's like whistleblowing. It's kind of crazy. Like when you get into politics like that, I think that's like kind of dangerous, right? Because if you guys remember what happened to Boeing, like there was a Boeing employee that whistle blew and then he died. Like that could literally happen to to Michael Cohen right here. Like politics are it's kind of crazy. Like I wouldn't want to be in politics because I feel like there's so much that could happen, especially if you want to whistleblow, right? Because you can't really snitch on these guys. You snitch on these guys, it's going to come back to you one way or another, or on these big corporations and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, it's not really going to affect news, but it's kind of like interesting to see if this here would have any effect. I mean, it's breaking news, so breaking news just not directly correlated to the market, unless you're buying into Trump's IPO. His little social media IPO, that's probably going to take some hit today. All right, so there's nothing going on here. Price is still sitting in between this area, as you guys can see. It's still a range right here. Price is not really moving out of this area. I'm glad that I marked it up so that you guys can see it a little bit better. Because if not, you guys wouldn't really tell. Like you guys can see that price is ranging and consolidating within this area, but drawing the structure here makes it a lot more obvious because you guys can see where the fake outs are happening. Anything outside of these ranges here are fake outs, unless it actually breaks out of that area and continues dropping, in that direction. Okay, perfect. So we're actually getting a continuation to the downside here, guys. This is a breakout V3 continuation. It's not one that I would personally take because it is touching the sessions and news price up here, but this is a breakout V3 continuation. So one thing to look for here is if price breaks past the lower low right here. Personally, I don't think I would take it as a high-low scalp. I would look for a momentum divergence. So we have a sell signal here, right? What I'm looking for and what I want here to happen is I want price to kind of come down a little bit lower. I want price to retrace up a little bit and then correct back down. And then when price corrects back down to this area down here, this is where I'll probably be looking to enter because I'm looking for momentum divergence. Right? So I need this divergence here to retrace back up. I wanted to come down, fake out again, retrace back up, and then come back down. Once we have that, then I'll be looking for the entry here for the momentum divergence. I think the high-low scalp is still a little tricky. It's not one that I would personally take, not yet, because this is still a fake out area right here. Hey Jay, how's it going? All right, 6:51 right now. We got news in about 9 minutes. So here goes another fake out right here. Price kind of broke below structure. Didn't close, but it broke below structure right here. And then it pulled back into this range. There's not really much going on, as you guys can see. Price is still kind of just going sideways. So, this is the thing that I always tell you guys just have to be patient. When the market's moving like this, you got to be patient. The entry is going to happen. It's just a matter of time until it actually does, but it's not ready yet, especially with all the news here. So we got so much news happening right here, 6:45, 7. I don't really like when news happens like this, where they're so scrunched up together, right? We had news at 5:30, 5:55, 6 o'clock, 6:45, 7, 7:30. There's so many news events here. You guys can see all the pink lines from every news event that's happened this morning. Yeah, it's just not. Well, I'm glad that they're all in one area. So that's the good thing. The good thing is that all the news is in one area here. But the thing that I don't like is that there's so many news events. You have to be careful for all the catalysts that can happen in the market. Like the catalyst here at 5:30, then we had the catalyst at 5:55, which is not really big, and then another one at 6, and then this one over here at 6:45. And now we have a bigger one. Or actually, I don't think this one's that big. Let me check. I mean, it's medium impact. It's CB consumer confidence, so it's still pretty impactful. We got CB consumer confidence at 7 o'clock. It's forecasted to be negative. All right, so we got price coming back down here where we kind of anticipated. I'm going to look for the fake out here again. Or it doesn't need a fake out. I mean, it could fake out, it could not. This is a possible high-low scalp that's setting up. I'm not going to take this trade here, of course, like I said. This could be another fake out. That's the reason why I'm looking not to take it. Nice. Casey said he caught the pullback on the BB3. Solid. So you caught the pullback, got in a little late, rejection off the pivot, probably the best time to make entry. And you hit his TP right there. So I think if you guys are looking to take any entries here, whether it be a BB3, high-low scalp, anything like that, look for the later entry. So look for the retracement and then look for the correction. So that's probably like your best option there. So there goes a high-low scalp, guys. It's probably going to hit. Oh yeah, it looks like it already hit. I wouldn't have taken it though. I think in my perspective, it's a little too risky. Yeah, it already went straight to its full TP. I don't know if anybody caught that there. But this here was the high-low scalp for anybody who was looking to take it. Okay, so we're getting some direction here now. What I would be looking for here next, well, I'm still looking for the same thing. Not really looking for anything next. I'm still looking for the momentum divergence. So we have the big candles right here coming down. Now I would like to see a retracement back up a little bit. Then a possibility of a correction back down. Like a small head and shoulders. Nothing crazy, but basically what I'm looking for there. Looking over here at the liquidity, that is also liquidity right there. So the first level of liquidity here got hit earlier. So there goes the first level of liquidity, and here goes the second level of liquidity as well. So both levels of liquidity right there got hit for full TPs. So if you guys took any of the entries that we marked up today, liquidity here got hit on both levels. The high-low scalp over here also got hit for full TP. I didn't take the trade though, so none of these trades are going to count. The only trades that are going to count are the ones that I actually take. So I'm looking for momentum divergence here to play through still, if it'll play through. We don't know yet if it'll play through, but if it does, we'll take a look at it. Looking over here at the PRB, I think a PRB might have came up too. So let's see. Market opened at 6:30. There was rejection right here. Rejection, 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 rejection. Space candle, rejection up here. So the PRB actually happened like way up here, guys. I don't know if anybody caught it, but the PRB did happen like way up here. So we had the first rejection right here. And we had the space candle, which was right here, this green one. There's no wicks touching any of the pivots. And then price kind of retraced up a little bit, came back down, hit the pivot right there, and went straight down a full TP. So this is the PRV for today, hit full TP. There's no BB3 here, at least not yet. Yeah, other than that, that's about it for now. Yeah, Medusa liquidity was hit. We might get a second touch after retracement and divergence. Yeah, so I'm fine with that too. We're getting the retracement right here. The only problem is we have news right here at 7, so I don't know if I'll be able to take anything. I just realized news is coming up in about a few minutes. So we got price dumping here further. Also, an MPS came up right here. A lot of entries just came up super quickly, guys. I don't know if anybody caught any of these entries here, but another MPS came up. Actually didn't come up yet, Kenny. Almost. So we had the sell signal right here come down. Actually, no, you're right. It did come up like way up here, but it was touching the sessions right there. So I personally would not have actually, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on the person. So we had the sell signal right here. The trend was bearish. This green candle right here pushed up. It was within the range. So that's the main reason I wouldn't have taken it, but it wasn't MPS. So price came down, retraced up. The level for MPS would have happened right here at the 90 mark. So the entry would have happened here for the MPS right back down. So it looks like a bunch of entries have come up. They're just not in areas that I would have taken. So I wouldn't have traded within the range right here. Also within the sessions being so close. And then on top of that, it's just a tricky area to trade in. I'm okay with this area down here though. So now that price has kind of fallen back down, I'm okay with this here. So I'm hoping that, well, actually it's going to be too close to the news price, because I was looking to see if we get a retracement here, because if we get a retracement, the thing is the news here is forecasted to be negative. So it's probably going to come right back down. So price might push up a little bit, retrace. And then if it comes back down, that's going to be the momentum divergence. The problem with this here is that it's right at the price right here at news price. So typically we don't want to trade 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. So we have to kind of wait a little bit for price to react to the news. So we might not get a momentum divergence right here. We might have to wait for the next one. So we'll see. I'll give it some time. We got news over here in about 20 seconds. Again, you just want to be patient. It's Trap Tuesday. So last thing you want to do is get into a position that you regret. We got the candle coming up in about 10 seconds. Yeah, Drew said volatility just died. Yeah, it just died because I think people are waiting for the news to happen right here. We'll see what the news looks like. All right, so we got the news candle right there. News was negative, so it's negative just as anticipated, or actually, no, sorry, it's not up yet. Still loading up. So I'm just hoping we don't get a buy signal. If we don't get a buy signal, that's fine. Because if price comes back down, see the buy signal is what we don't want. Because we do have the bullish divergence here. We just want the buy signal not to come up. Because that buy signal is what's going to reset the momentum divergence. So the news still wasn't released. All right. Yeah, Nick said he's waiting until after news reaction. The news still hasn't been dropped yet, so curious what it was. I'm just kind of waiting and hoping that there's no buy signal that comes up. That's the key thing here. No buy signal. All right, let's check the news real quick. Okay, so the news was negative. It was actually really negative. So it was forecasted to be 103, or last month was 103. They're forecasting to be 104. So they actually forecasted to be positive. The numbers were off. They fixed it. That's why it took so long. Yeah. All right, so I'll look for the correction down. So it looks like we're getting the news reaction right here. The news was actually negative though, so I'm looking for that momentum divergence to come up. I'm just hoping no buy signal comes up here. The buy signal will pretty much throw off the entire setup. All right, so now we just wait. I don't think we're gonna get the divergence anytime soon, or maybe not within the next candle or so. Like this thing's gonna have to come right back down. You can see that divergence here. Price is really trying hard to push back up, but it's not having luck here. All right, it's gonna wait. Let's see what happens here. All right, perfect. So we got the drop back down right here. I don't think this is gonna be the divergence candle. It'll probably be the next one, or maybe the next two. I'm just looking for it to come back down. So I'm looking for it to come back down, looking for this here to cross back over. So if this here crosses back over, this will probably line up with a high-low scalp off this lower low. As you can see over here that it's kind of spread out still. Yeah, the bullish momentum here does not really have much push behind it. You'll see the buy signal come up and then disappear. All right, so again, we wait. I mean, which is fine. I wanted to give it some time anyways after the news. It's technically still within the 5-minute parameters. So we got the buy signal here pending again. I wouldn't be surprised if this here disappears at the last second. If it closes, that's fine. We'll just have to restart our possible opportunity for momentum divergence. If it doesn't close though, and it comes back down, then we're still game for a momentum divergence entry. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much doing what I'm anticipating here. It's not really having the buy signal close. If anything, price might push up and reject off the structure here. Madu's asking, are both those zones above resistance? This is support. So, well, I mean, they're resistance now. So this was, I drew this from over here, Madu. This is the lower support where it was support for the consolidation range. And this right here is the higher high for the resistance. So, but since price broke below it, I guess this could be considered, now resistance. But it's not new resistance. So these zones were actually put together. These zones were actually put together before market open. There's another support here that's been pretty much, I mean, established, but it's not really, it's more of a fake out lower low. And that's why I drew these over here. I think these are better zones. So here's a clean chart again, guys. I'll just leave it as is. This support resistance was pretty much established before market opened back here. down here and right here. I was gonna draw some new ones, but there hasn't really been many new ones that have come up yet. So like technically there's one right here, and technically there's one right here. So I guess I could draw these up right here on the clean chart for you guys to see better. There we go. All right, so we got the rejection right here off the support resistance that we were talking about earlier. We have another pending buy signal here, but you guys can see it's having trouble closing. I think this might be I'm hoping this is going to be a fake out. So I'm hoping price broke above. This is not going to be the fake out. It's going to come right back in between this range, and then we'll have a continuation back to the downside. So that's what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for the fake out right here, and then pull back below. I want to fake out right here, pull back into this area here, and then we'll get a momentum divergence, and then we can trade within this area down here. Yeah, exactly. Drew said something crazy is going to happen. This pending signal is fishy. Yeah. It's kind of like how the ones have been in the past. If you guys remember before, sometimes we're looking for entries and we're just waiting for a signal to close, right? And it doesn't close for like almost an hour. And then eventually a big breakout happens. So it's rejecting off the pivot here now, or not the pivot, the sessions. It's rejecting off the sessions right there. This buy signal is going to be pretty much the deciding factor if price comes back down or not. So, all right, again, right there, no buy signal. This buy signal has been pending for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 11 candles now. So well over 10 minutes. This buy signal has been pending. It's now rejecting off the sessions right here. So what I'm hoping for here and what I'm aiming for is I'm aiming for a fake out. Hoping the fake out comes out here, because this fake out is going to line up with the divergence. We might be able to get an entry from like way up here actually. Okay. It's probably not going to happen on this candle. It'll probably happen on the next one. Unless this candle closes like super red, which I highly doubt. All right, so we might get the divergence here. This candle's got to close like as a decently red candle, because I want the divergence to be super clear. Can't be super small. It's got to be like very clear. Like I got to see the spread between the divergence down here. Yeah, Drew said it might consolidate. Yeah, and I can see that too. Here goes another buy signal. It's still trying to push up. Yeah, it's still trying to push up, but it's having trouble getting past the sessions, which is it's going to have trouble at this point, because it didn't have enough power to get up here to begin with, and now it's trying to get past the sessions, which is going to be another obstacle for it. All right, so the buy signal actually closed finally. It took like well over 10 to 15 minutes. At this point, there's no more momentum divergence for us to look for. We would need price to actually come down super heavily and then reset the process. So we need price to come down with the sell signal, and we need the retracement and continuation. And that's how this here would work. But now we are back to square one. There's not really much here to look at. Price is back into the same range that it was in earlier. So it's like this stuff down here never really happened. Price came down slightly, faked out down here, back into the same range that it's been in since before market even opened. So you guys can see this is the range. Every time price breaks out of the range, it's just a fake out. Typical trap Tuesday. Fake out, fake out, fake out. Couple more fake outs. Broke below, even bigger fake out, and now it's back into the range. So let's see if it corrects back down from here. I mean, if it does, great, because we have a decent amount of space down here to look for entries. So it looks like price, there's also a V1 pattern right there. This could be setting up for a breakout V3 continuation. This could be a high-low momentum scalp with divergence. Like, yeah, I know what you just mentioned. Yeah, there's a V1 pattern right here. So this is the divergence that I was looking for. Unfortunately, we have a buy signal here, so it doesn't meet my criteria. I'm not going to take the trade, of course. If the sell signal here closes, which it didn't, this could have been a high-low momentum scalp. I was hoping it would close because, and then after that, I would look for the breakout V3 continuation. That's what I would be looking for. Like that would have been such a perfect setup, right? Because we have a double body rejection right here. It's off a higher high, high level momentum scalp. And then if this closed with the sell signal and this panel was green, that would be a breakout V3 continuation. So I would have taken that trade there. But yeah, again, I don't think I would mess with any pivot scalps because it's not very obvious that the candles are going to close. You guys can see these candles will come up with the sell signal, and then at the very last second, they'll disappear. So, I mean, if you guys want to take it, this would be a pivot scalp. If anybody is looking to take it, that would be your entry. I just personally don't feel comfortable kind of getting in at the last second it disappears like that, right? I don't like those types of trades. I like the trade when I know for sure it's going to close, and it didn't close there. Yeah, exactly. Nick said he's waiting for the BV3 continuation. That's what I'm looking for too. I mean, either way, we would need a sell signal. So you guys can see just another fake out here, price faked out, and then it's pulling back into the range. So that's typically what happens. Fake out, pull back into the range. It's typical Trap Tuesday stuff. Typical Trap Tuesday movement here. All right, let me clean this up. Again, this is our clean chart. I know it's a little frustrating. Trust me, it's frustrating me too, but I'd rather be frustrated and not with a loss than, taking some risky trades here. I mean, you guys can see the range here. There's nothing that's really changed. It's pretty much where it's supposed to be with regard to the range. If you just factor out not the red flags, the fake outs. I mean, there's more structure I can draw here, but I'm not going to draw it. So like technically I could draw another zone right here, but it's kind of pointless. Or I guess I could just leave it up there for now because it looks like price might not come back up to this area up here. Looks like it might just range. So the new range looks like it's within this area right here. So if I take these off right here, looks like the new range right here down this middle area. So I'll leave all the zones up. Just so that you guys have an idea of like where price is likely to bounce off. And then I'll clean it up a little later once we have some more structure here to kind of base things off. Yeah, the candles here are starting to move a little blocky. So this right here would technically be a momentum divergence for a buy. I mean, I personally wouldn't take it because of all the red flags right here. But this would be a momentum divergence for a buy. Because if you have a buy signal here, the divergence was bullish, it retraced down to bearish. And this candle here, if it closes green, it's likely to close with the divergence to the bullish side. So this looks like it can be a momentum divergence for a buy. But again, I wouldn't take it because there's so many news prices right here and it's right at the sessions. So that's a big red flag for me personally. I just wanted to show you guys that's kind of what I was looking for the sell. This is just for the buy. Yeah, so that would be a momentum divergence opportunity. I wouldn't have taken it though, because I think the sessions would be the biggest red flag for me, indicating that, don't enter here because this is where manipulation happens. Plus all these pink lines over here for news. is it doesn't help as well. It looks like the volatility here is starting to die down quite a bit. I was hoping we'd get an entry before 7:30 news, but I don't know if we'll get it today. Let's check the 7:30 news for today. We have the Dallas Fed Services Revenue Index and Dallas Fed Services Index. They're both low impact. They're both forecasted to be negative. So we'll see. Let's see. Daniel, so did you take this V1? I don't think I'd take anything around this area because of the red flags. But there goes the momentum divergence that I just discussed with you guys earlier. It just went straight to full TP. Again, I would have taken this trade if there was no sessions here, no news price, but it just didn't look safe to me. So that was the entry that I was looking for the sell earlier, but it just never came up because the buy signal came up here. However, it did come up here for a buy. So we had a buy signal here, momentum divergence was bullish, retraced down to bearish here, swung back to bullish here, and that's the correction that I would have looked for. So you guys can see the momentum divergence is a very simple strategy. It's a simple strategy and it works very well. I typically take one per momentum. I think that's the safest way to do it because otherwise, movement starts to fizzle out a little bit. Either way, I wouldn't be able to take any trades in this area as all these red flags. All right, so we got price finally pushing back up. Looks like the correction might happen now for this big red candle right here. Correction could be possible. Yeah, CJ said the market picked up after 10 yesterday, just as you predicted. Might do the same thing today. Yeah, if that happened on Monday, typically that's probably going to be what's happening all week. So volatility might be low, might be choppy throughout the early hours of the session, which is unusual because that's when volatility is the highest. And then it'll probably pick up later once kind of fizzles out a bit. Let's see, Nixon might get an MPS between the sessions, would be sketchy though. Yeah, it's a little too close to a lot of these red flags up here. We have opening price and we have the sessions above, so definitely tricky area to look for an MPS. Let's see, Nick said in comparison to other days, yesterday was basically a slow the entire day. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm typically looking for like one quality entry. If I can find one quality entry during a market like this, then I'm cool with it. Because that's all you really need in a sense. So the trend here still hasn't confirmed yet, guys. There's no MPSs available yet until the trend here is like fully confirmed. The red pivot needs to cross below all of the pivots before that becomes the case here. All right. It's just the waiting game. It's the waiting game that sucks the most. All right, I was hoping we'd get some sort of retracement. So we would need a retracement candle. That's typically what we need. We would need a sell signal to come up to confirm the retracement, and then we could possibly look for some more momentum divergences. I mean, otherwise, there could be a possible high-low scalp here. Again, I don't think I'd be personally interested in taking any high-low scalps by itself. There's no MPS here yet, Nick, because the trend hasn't confirmed. You can see the red pivot here still hasn't crossed. So you have to wait for the red pivot to cross first before. Yeah. So there's no entries here right now, guys. Just got to be patient with this here. The momentum is starting to shift back to bearish. So this might start to set up for a sell signal here, possibly. This is like one thing to look at too. So if you look at the momentum divergence and the candle is green and it still converges, odds of it coming back down on the following candle are very likely. So we'll see if the example plays out here. So I'm kind of hoping this candle here closes green so that you guys can see that the divergence here is still converted, even though the candle is green. I mean, if it closes red, it's going to be obvious. Yeah, of course it should close red. But if it closes opposite, it kind of gives you a head start to the next candle. So, but it looks like this candle here is going to close red. I mean, I would be okay with it even shifting back down. So if we had a shift back to the downside for a sell, that's even better because I want price to be away from these sessions here anyways. So pending sell signal there, didn't actually close. Yeah, Nick said he prefers a downshift. Same here. There's just too many red flags up here, so I prefer to look for the sell versus the buy. Let's see, Medusa double bodies forming on the 5-minute. Okay, perfect. So we're getting a V1 variation pattern over here on the 5-minute, which can push price right back down. So that'd be ideal. All right. I mean, we'll see how the market continues to move. If you don't get any entries by like 7:30, I'm going to see how the volatility is looking. The ATR is still pretty high, and I'll probably stay on a little longer than usual. We kind of did this last week as well. But usually the ATR starts to die down around 7:30 anyways. If the ATR stays high and it's above 15 past 7:30, then I might hang out for a little bit longer, maybe closer to 8, and see if we can maybe get something a little later in the session because the entry is going to happen. It's just a matter of time until it does, and a matter of time of when. But if the ATR dies down, obviously it's not going to be criteria because we would still need 15 ATR to take any entries here to begin with. So ATR is currently at 19. I'm hoping it stays high. We have low impact news over here at 7:30. Price is now. So, I mean, realistically, if you look at this here, like, let me just take all these other zones off. I mean, really, if you look at it here, there's like, it's just more fake outs. So I'll just leave the zones here, the original range that we had this morning. And you guys can see that these are all just fake outs. So every time price pushed out of this area here is just a fake out. Price again pushed out of this area here, another fake out. Just pull back into the range, right? So you guys can see how there's a lot of noise happening. Like you can draw a bunch of zones, but if you just have the original zones up right here, you can see that every time price pushed out of this area, it just faked out. Price pushed below, fake out, fake out, fake out, huge fake out right here. Fake out both ways. Fake out right here. So you can see how a lot of people get stopped out, right? Anybody who chases the buy here, stopped out. Chase the sell, stopped out. Chase the buy, stopped out. Chase the big sell right here, stopped out again. So a lot of people who are not scalping and they're doing intraday trading or they're doing day trading like on a longer perspective, they're getting wiped out here because they just keep pulling back into this middle area, which is realistically where the movement's actually happening. So we're getting a shift back to the downside right here, which is perfect. I prefer to take the downside move anyways. We just need it to actually push out of this area because we can't trade within this range right here. Most of the time, I would be okay trading within the range. The only problem here is that there's so many red flags, right? Like we don't have no space here to trade between the sessions, news price. There's 3 different news prices within this area. It's just impossible. So I would like to catch a trade to the downside and then hopefully get out before it fakes out again. Ideally, that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So the sell signal here is pending. Thanks, Nikki. We have news over here in about 5 minutes. The good thing about news is that it's going to be low impact, so not really expecting too much out of it. So we'll see how it kind of pushes price around a little bit. And I'm hoping we'll be able to have some sort of setup maybe after news. Okay, so we have the sell signal here that's still pending, slowly climbing its way down. Okay, so it's not looking so great. If you guys look at the ATR right here, it's doing exactly what I was mentioning before. I said if the ATR drops down below 15, it's probably not going to be a good sign because price is probably just going to go sideways for a bit. So I want to keep the ATR alive. I want to keep it above 15. If it stays above 15, I'll trade into 740, where I typically call it a day. Because I do expect an entry to come up at some point. All right, so price is currently at the sessions right now. It's in between the range. Not too much going on. All right, another pending sell signal. Hoping that sell signal comes up eventually. All right, so let's go to our clean chart again. So here's the liquidity chart. There's no other liquidity that's nearby. The liquidity up here is like super high up. This over here can come back and retest these areas of liquidity, possibly with a continuation back down. Here's our clean chart. Price is in between the range right now. Making its way down a little further. Price is currently stuck at the sessions. It's been having this pending sell signal for the past 3-4 candles now. ATR is at 18. All right, we got news in 2 minutes. The ATR is pretty much shifting between 17 and 18. All right, we got news in about 1:30. Any updates from CNBC? No updates. I'm surprised it still says pre-market here. I don't know why it does that. It shouldn't say pre-market anymore because we're like deep into the market already. Now, whatever. Usually this changes to like open market, but it's still in pre-market. The thing is, it hasn't been updated either. Well, it's been updated at like 7:19, which is like 10 minutes ago. That's all good. All right, we got news coming up shortly. We're starting to get some volatility back on these candles. News in about 20 seconds. Pending sell signal right here. This is perfect because it's going to start setting up for the opportunity that we were looking for. There we go. And the 5 minutes going to close with that double body as well. So again, this is a possible pivot scalp if anybody's looking to take it. I'm not going to take it because it's right at the news candle, obviously. But it is another pivot scalp opportunity right there. So we have the news candle here. The news was see what the news was. News was negative. Okay, so we have a lot of negative news here. I'm kind of glad that price here is kind of rejecting back up into the, I guess we consider the false direction. Then I'll be looking for the correction back down. The trend's starting to shift with it as well right here. So we got price moving opposite of news. This candle here closes red. It's technically a breakout V3 continuation. Didn't close red there, but now we got price back down here. And the volatility is getting really low. Volatility is at 17.4. Hoping it stays decent. Okay, so I'm looking for the same setup that I was looking for earlier. I'm looking for the momentum divergence. So we currently have bearish divergence here. Price is swinging back up, which is completely fine because we're getting that retracement right there. And then I'll be looking for the correction back to the downside. The trend is now bearish. You can see the red pivots cross over all of the others. We need the retracement though. All right, so we do have the retracement right there. The divergence is shifting back up. I would be okay if price even pushes up a little more. So I would be okay if price pushes up, bounces off the pivots and then comes back down. I actually be okay with that. Because I just want the divergence here to be split. I mean, the divergence is already split, but the bigger the split, the better. So you guys can see over here when these divergence shifts, I like it when the shift's pretty smooth, like shifts below, shifts above, shifts below, etc. I mean, it's still shifted above, so it's currently bullish right now. So if price does come back down further and we have a couple red candles, then this is going to be confirmation of a divergence for a sell. So I'm actually okay with this candle here closing red. If the next candle closes red, it looks like it's going to be the divergence. Probably not this one here, but the next one. Yeah, so definitely not that one right there. Maybe not even this one right here. So I typically don't trade around news price, guys, but if we have a strong enough divergence, I'll probably still take the trade. The reason for that is because this is a low impact news event. It's not really expected to really push price at all. And you can see right here, it's not really pushing price at all to begin with. So I usually try to avoid red flags altogether, but I think this red flag here is not as strong. So the levels of red flag that I typically try to avoid are sessions, opening price, and then news price. And then for news price, there's different levels, of course, high impact, medium impact, and low impact. For this low impact over here, this is one that you can kind of get away with if it kind of meets your criteria. The only problem here is that I want price to kind of or your entry to happen before it gets down to these lower levels over here. So you might get an entry here. It might not happen on this candle. It might happen on the next one. The only problem is that we have news again down here. So it's a little tricky. I don't think this here would confirm the divergence. Not yet. Okay, so that lower low has been pretty much invalidated. Smart sucks. I feel like the market's kind of been like this for a while now, where it's just been really slow and you just have to be really patient for those solid entries to come in. It's been like this for the past couple of weeks. I mean, given we've still been able to catch wins, last couple of weeks we've still been able to hit wins. It's just there hasn't been as many entries as there has been like last month. So, all right, we have another opportunity right here. This candle would have to close pretty decently red for it to confirm the divergence. If not, then it'd have to be the following candle. A little tricky. So I'm gonna draw a line like right here. So if this candle closes below this line here, this will be a momentum divergence. I typically don't take trades around this area, but I'll take it if it closes if it's like for sure below that line. If it doesn't, if it's like maybe, then definitely not. Let's see, I can set a possible pending order right here at 34. See if I can even get that. No, I didn't even close as it didn't even close below the level there. But what I'll do here is I'll set a pending order at 34 because if price does come back below that point, it'll probably wait, what the fuck? Filled my order already. Why did I get out of this position? Tried to use a super dumb and it filled my order for some reason. Let me get out of this. Let me get this here. One time I tried to use a super dom, it fills my position. All right, I didn't get out of this position right here. It filled my order. I think it was because I put an order on the super dom, but I tried to put it pending, and then it filled it because of the spread. I'm hoping price comes back down because I have my limit just right there. All right, I'm not going to use a super dom anymore. The super dom, it was because of the spread between price. I was trying to put a pending order there and then it ended up filling it, but price never actually came down to this point. So hopefully none of you guys are in this position here with me, but unfortunately I got kind of sucked into this position here. I put my pending order and then it filled it. The price was like way up here. All right, so I'm gonna hold on to it for a little bit. If I lose the trade, I lose the trade, but that was a mistake on my end. I should have just waited for it and then entered the market when it came back down. Let's see, trying to figure out a way out of this here. So let's see, we got this coming back down. All right, so I'm gonna take this off. There's no actual position that's currently running. I just made a mistake there. I used a super dom to put a pending order and it filled my order, even though it was like way above here. I thought I was gonna fill it when it came back down, but it just, as soon as I set it, it filled it. I'm looking here at the possible double body rejection, and I'm hoping price comes back down from this point so I can either minimize my losses or get out and break even. So it's here, it's still kind of sitting, I'm still in it. Let me do an analysis real quick. So rejection off the pivot right there. No, I got stopped out. Oh my God, now I'm in a negative for the week. Oh yeah, I'm never using a super dom ever in my life. I'm never gonna use a super dom again. That was a stupid mistake. Yeah, I'm never gonna use a super dom again. It was a limit order too. I don't know why it filled. If it was a stop order, it would have filled because if it would have touched it. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Made a mistake there. And now I'm just like in an unnecessary loss for this week. Uh, that's okay. We'll come back. So I'm gonna keep looking for some more entries here. Actually, it's like 740. So I'll see if there's another opportunity that will come up here. But my trade psychology is all screwed up right now after that loss because it wasn't what I was expecting. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm just like confused like why that happened with the super dom. Because a limit order is only supposed to be filled if it gets touched. And price never came back down to that level. And my entry was like down here at 44. So weird. As again, I'm gonna stick to my market orders in the future so I know what the I know what I'm getting into. Yeah, I'm trying to play with the settings here to see where it's at. No, that's all good. Gotcha. Rashida said, I noticed with Apex limit orders puts you in the position. I use buy stop instead or sell stop. Yeah. Well, I did what I typically do. Like when we take the MPS entries, I usually have a what's it called? I have a I do the same thing I always do. So I just let me see, I'm gonna look at it real quick. I just click on the numbers. Like I don't even have an option to put a limit here. Here, I'm gonna try it again on the sim. Let's see, price is currently up here.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Yeah, see, it doesn't really make sense. I don't know.
Order filled.
That hit TP. Yeah, I used the sim and it worked. It worked how it's supposed to. For some reason, I don't know why it filled like right away. Unless the spike. I don't know if I missed the spike in price, but I mean, I don't know. The super dom is kind of weird for me because what happened right here too with the sim account, Nick, is I put the order like way above. So I put the order like way up here, and it didn't actually fill until price was like way past it. So price was past it, and then the limit was like way down here, and it filled like kind of late. So I'm just gonna stick to my market orders. I think the super dom is a little tricky when it comes down to the execution times. Yeah, Rashida said it did it to her a couple times. She doesn't use limits anymore. Yeah, the weird thing is that with the limit orders, it's supposed to like the way that the limit orders work, they have to be touched in order for you to, or you have to be able to get in at that price in order for you to be in it. But I mean, it's all good, whatever. Nick said you submitted a sell limit above waiting. Yeah, no, exactly. Price was way up here, but my limit was down here, and it still filled it. Like as soon as I put it there, price kind of moved around a little bit, and it said order filled, and I was like, what? Because price never came back down here, and then that's why I got caught in that position. So I mean, it's all good. You live and you learn. Now I know to never use super dumb. Uh, yeah, Nick said for some reason NinjaTrader with Apex accounts will do that. Gotcha. I wish I knew that before I used the super dumb, but it's okay. I thought the Super Dome was a cool tool, but now that I see the execution on it, it's just not good when the market's kind of when you're too close to your entry. I think the Super Dome is good if you're like super far away from it, but if you're too close, I don't think it's a good tool to be using. Like for the MPS, it's a little better because you can you'll be like 10 points away from your entry, but when you're trying to get in for a late follow-up entry, then it's not really that good. All right. Yeah, I know. Kenny said, I don't think you're able to set a limit below price. That's what I thought. That's why I thought I was putting a stop order because it was below price and I was going in for the sell. But for whatever reason, like if you try to use a super dom, if you set an order above or below where it's supposed to be a stop, it shows up as a limit. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, Nick said Superdome auto sets limit. So I think what happened, so I kind of understand what happened now. So now that Nick has mentioned that it automatically sets the limits, I think what happened was like when I put it below as a sell stop, it automatically pushed your entry to the closest entry price. So whenever price came down, it filled it automatically. So that makes sense. That was my mistake. I should have known that before playing with the Superdome, but it's all good. It's a costly mistake that I'll have to learn from. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Unfortunately, I'm in the red for the week. There was no trade there. So obviously there's nothing. That was my mistake that I took. And I'm just gonna have to eat that loss. So hopefully I have a couple more wins this week, which I think we will. Today's just Tuesday, so we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm currently at negative 1,400, so I just need 2 trades to make it back into profit. So I'm not exactly I'm not done yet. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I think this is it for the day. It's 7:46 right now. ATR is currently at 15.8, which is not super high. I typically stop trading after 7:40, which was right here. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much here to look at. The thing that I would probably be looking at would be, and the reason why I'm saying that is because there's sessions up here, right? So there's not really going to be much space here to take any trades. The main thing that I would be looking for, I'd be looking for a momentum divergence back down and a correction back up, but does not look like that's going to happen anytime soon. You guys can see the ATR here starting to kind of drop down a little bit or pick back up. Actually, it's back at 16. But I don't know for how long this will probably hold. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, we'll come back tomorrow fresh. My trade psychologies are kind of screwed right now. So I don't think I'm in the best mindset to recover that loss, because at that point, I'll just be revenge trading. So that just goes to show, guys, when you make a mistake, you just got to take the mistake, eat the loss, and then move on with it. If you keep trading after a loss like that, you're going to revenge trade, and then it's just going to be a downward spiral for you. So yeah, for me, I'm just going to take this unfortunate L, and then come back tomorrow fresh and then recoup my losses moving forward. So, all right, guys, other than that, I'll see you guys